We're entering the final stretch here in what may be, people think it might be, who knows? Honestly, the most amazing thing is nobody knows if it will be the closest presidential race of the century. It is deeply personal, though. Harris unleashing a new line of attack in the final days, questioning Trump's low energy.
I've been hearing reports that his team at least is saying he's suffering from exhaustion. And that's apparently the excuse for why he's not doing interviews. And of course, he's not doing the CNN town hall. He refuses to do another debate. And, you know, look, being president of the United States is probably one of the hardest jobs in the world. And so we really do need to ask if he's exhausted being on the campaign trail. Is he fit to do the job?
All right, that comment got under the former president's skin. He has responded not once, but twice.
I've gone 48 days now without arrest, and I've got that loser who doesn't have the energy of a rabbit. Tell me when you've seen me take even a little bit of a rest. Not only am I'm not even tired. I'm really exhilarated. You know why? We're killing her in the polls. We'll go through it pretty quick, Gal, and then I'm going over to make a little speech in front of 10,000 people. You think this is an easy life I have, right? I go from here, I say, am I finished? They say, no, sir, you have one more speech. Oh, good, where is it?
Says he's exhilarated. So meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris tonight addressing a question that continually comes up. That is, what would she have done differently than Joe Biden?
I mean, to be very candid with you, even including Mike Pence, vice presidents are not critical of their presidents. I think that really actually, in terms of the tradition of it and also just going forward, it does not make for a productive and important relationship.
Jane, you heard that back and forth between Harris and Trump on the energy issue. Politico reported that he canceled interviews because of exhaustion. So I just wanted to play a little bit more of his reaction to Harris's comments about that. Here he is.
What event did I cancel? I haven't canceled. She doesn't go to any events. She's a loser. She doesn't go to any events. She didn't even show up for the Catholics last night at the hotel. It was insulting. All they are is sound bites. So the day I was at Fox and Friends at 7 in the morning. I then went to 2 different other appearances. I then made about 15 phone calls.
And you know, to be fair, he is doing a lot, right? He did go to the Al Smith dinner in New York last night. We were able to see him for the entire time that others were speaking. He was fully engaged. Harris sent that recorded video that we saw there. He did do that interview this morning, a roundtable this evening, a rally tonight. Is that not enough?
Well, I think given the fact that he fell asleep during an event today and the fact that his Fox and Friends interview featured, how can I put this, some nonsensical statements. Now, granted, the thing with Donald Trump is that, like, this is what he's been like for a long time. But I will say that the energy issue, it's clear that it is annoying him. It is clear that Harris bringing that up has annoyed him as he keeps bringing it up. And it's interesting because there are specific things you can do to annoy him. 1, accuse him of being low energy. And 2, do something on Fox that he doesn't like. And this is now twice that this has taken place. So I do think it's clearly an issue for him, or else he wouldn't keep bringing it up.
Well, it is under his skin, Aaron. Clearly, I mean, he's angered by it, which may be exactly why she's sort of picking at that scab.
I do have to point out that along with his intentions, there is also a question of his competence. Have you seen him lately? I mean, he is out there, he's given 2.5 hour speeches, just word salads. You have no idea what he's talking about. He's talking about Hannibal Lecter, he's talking about this, he's talking about that. He held a town hall meeting where he just, let me explain, because I've done a lot of town hall meetings. The point of a town hall meeting is to take questions. He just decided, you know what, I'm going to stop taking questions. And then he's swaying to Ave Maria and YMCA for about half an hour. Folks are standing there not sure what's happening. Can you imagine if I did that? Can you imagine if Ruben did that right in the middle? Now, our playlist would probably be better. But He called himself the father of IVF. I do not know what that means. You do not either. He said January 6th was a day of love. Do not boo, vote. It made January 6th sound like it was Woodstock. You would be worried if your grandpa was acting like this. No, I'm not joking. You would, right? You'd call up your cousins and you say, "Have you noticed?"
But we begin tonight with just 18 days left before the election. Both Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are spending the day in the important battleground state of Michigan. It is Harris's second day in the Rust Belt. She chose to speak to voters in Wisconsin yesterday rather than appear last night in person at the annual Al Smith Dinner, hosted by the Archdiocese of New York, an event that is typically attended by both presidential candidates during an election year. It usually includes the candidates lightheartedly roasting each other. The vice president did send a video that included comedian Molly Shannon reprising her Saturday Night Live character, Mary Catherine Gallagher.
Is there anything that you think that maybe I shouldn't bring up tonight?
Well, don't lie. Thou shalt not bear false witness to thy neighbor.
Indeed, especially thy neighbor's election results.
Just so you know, there will be a fact checker there tonight.
Oh, that's great. Who?
Jesus. And maybe don't say anything negative about Catholics.
I would never do that, no matter where I was. That would be like criticizing Detroit in Detroit.
Trump did appear in person, but, maybe he should have sat this one out. While perhaps entertaining some of his supporters, many of his jokes either bombed or were just plain tasteless.
But apparently Joe didn't think it was fair for me to have the podium to myself with Kamala skipping the event. So he called, looked at me, and said, "Don't." Does anybody understand that? Yes. I thought it was actually very good until just now. I'm surprised that Bill de Blasio was actually able to make it tonight, to be honest. He was a terrible mayor. I don't give a shit if this is comedy or not. Right now we have someone in the White House who can barely talk, barely put together two coherent sentences, who seems to have mental faculties of a child, it's said. There's a person that has nothing going, no intelligence whatsoever, but enough about Kamala Harris.
And by the way, Donald, if you're going to try to make a joke about someone who can barely talk and put two sentences together, maybe you should be able to say the words yourself or risk becoming the butt of the joke, something I know that you're used to. Also, imagine being in a room full of Catholic clergy and feeling free to drop a cuss bomb. I'm sure he'll ask for forgiveness the next time he attends church. Oh, yeah, that's right. He never goes to church, nor, according to him, ever asks God for forgiveness. It was actually a bit of a surprise to see Trump appear at the Smith dinner last night, considering his campaign has been pulling him out of events and interviews left and right, including with 60 Minutes, CNBC, NBC News, and even a rally with the very Trump-friendly NRA. Politico reported today that Trump was also in talks to sit down with the social media outfit The Shade Room, presumably to court black voters. But like the others, that fell through. Politico writes, a Trump advisor told the Shade Room producers that Trump was exhausted and refusing some interviews, but that could change at any time, according to two people familiar with the conversations. VP Harris responded to that report from the campaign trail.
I've been hearing reports that his team, at least, is saying he's suffering from exhaustion. And that's apparently the excuse for why he's not doing interviews. And, of course, he's not doing the CNN town hall. He refuses to do another debate. And, look, being president of the United States is probably one of the hardest jobs in the world. And so we really do need to ask if he's exhausted being on the campaign trail. Is he fit to do the job? And I think that's a question that is an open-ended question that he needs to answer.
Do remember, this comes from the oldest nominee ever to run for president, who is unwilling to release his medical records and who claimed just 3 days ago that he is far healthier than all the other former presidents and Kamala Harris, too. I don't know, maybe he's canceling all these interviews because he's just afraid of having to take real challenging questions from those who are not his MAGA sycophants. That could explain why he went back to his safe space this morning on the comfy couch over at Fox, where he was given free rein to say whatever he wants to the nodding approval of his devout followers, including the one sitting beside him on the sofa.
I am the most stable human being. Remember, they said a stable genius. I am the most stable human being. I've been doing this for a long time. I hate to talk that way, but we can't let this woman get in. It's two people, and she's and you talk about unstable. She's a whack job.
He also let it slip that some people over at Fox helped write some of the so-called jokes he delivered last night at the Smith dinner. And he gave an open endorsement to a key element of Project 2025 on education.
We're going to take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it. We'll have one person, could be you if you decide to retire.
So let's say you have a liberal city, let's Los Angeles, San Diego, and they just decide we're going to get rid of that history. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land. And that curriculum comes in.
Then we don't send them money.
Did the brother on the set have any thoughts? Maybe not. People may wonder how we got here. That somebody this incapable could possibly return to the Oval Office. Well, for that, you can look at his performance on Fox this morning, which is a reminder that he is ultimately nothing more than a television performer.